Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, please. We're going to transition now from the poster session to the public hearing. So what I need is anyone sitting down here, if everyone could kind of move to the back of the room, we're going to remove the poster boards, spread out the seats, and then we're going to start the public hearing. So again, if everyone could kind of move more to the back of the room, away from where I am, and that'll allow us to kind of get the room set up as quickly as we can. We've joked we're going to be a NASCAR pit crew here. We're going to go as fast as we can. Okay, everyone feel free to come and take a seat. We're going to start the public hearing once we get everyone seated and comfortable. Jeffrey, you good?
Yes, thank you.
You guys good?
We're good. I've been at
Yep.
Andy's house. Sign language over here. Okay.
Okay, we're going to get started. Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Bing, and I will be the facilitator for tonight's public hearing. A few quick announcements. This hearing is for the demolition of the remaining Francis Scott Key Bridge structures. The rebuild of the replacement bridge will be reviewed under a separate Tidal Wetlands License Number and Water Quality Certification Number. Comments related to bridge replacement will need to be made during the public notice period or the public hearing associated with the rebuild. That public hearing is scheduled for September 17th, 2024. If you would like to comment for the rebuild of the new bridge, please submit your comments during the public notice period or at the September 17th hearing so the department can properly review your comments. Just so everyone knows, the restrooms are directly out the back door there. You'll see a sign that says restrooms. And we do have colleagues from the American Sign Language who will be doing interpretation up front here. Please make sure you have signed in tonight. This will make sure that everyone is provided updates as this process moves forward. And if you would like to sign up to provide a public comment, you need to let the person at the sign-up table know. This hearing is being live streamed and recorded. If you are here for informational purposes and do not wish to comment, or you are unable to stay for the entire hearing, you have the opportunity to view the live stream of this video from home or watch the recording at a later time. The comment sheets located at the front desk have information to locate the live stream and the recording of this hearing. We will start with a welcome and some introductory comments by the Maryland Department of the Environment. We will then have a brief presentation from the applicant, the Maryland Transportation Authority. And finally, I will review the ground rules for this hearing. At that point, we will start taking public comments. I would now like to introduce Tammy Roberson, Deputy Program Manager, Wetlands and Waterways Protection Program of the Maryland Department of the Environment.
Thank you. Good evening. Again, my name is Tammy Roberson, and I am the Deputy Program Manager of the Wetlands and Waterways Protection Program within the Water and Science Administration at the Maryland Department of the Environment. I will be the hearing officer for tonight's public informational hearing. Also in attendance from the department are Heather Hepburn from Tidal Wetlands Western Region Chief and Matt Wallach, Tidal Wetlands Division Project Manager. I would like to welcome everyone here this evening and thank the Baltimore County Public Library North Point Branch for the use of their facility tonight. At this time, I would like to acknowledge any elected officials who may be present here this evening. If you are an elected official or representing an elected official, please raise your hand now to be recognized.
Yeah, hi, I'm Delegate Bob Long. I'm incognito today. I'm a state legislator, and this is our district down here. That's why I'm down here, to find out what's going on.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Erica Crouch. I'm here tonight on behalf of County Executive Johnny Olszewski Jr. I'm with his Office of Community Engagement as the outreach coordinator for this area. Thank you.
Representing Director Rashad Singletary, Director of Neighborhoods for Baltimore City.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Dana Peterson-Moore. I am here on behalf of Mayor Brandon Scott, Baltimore City.
Thank you for attending this hearing, and we will be hearing your testimony shortly if you do plan to speak. If there is anyone who has not signed the attendance sheets, please do so before you leave tonight. These sheets will be used to notify you of MDE's final decision and provide you with a copy of the hearing report, and will also be used to identify those of you who wish to make a statement at tonight's hearing. Those statements will be heard at the conclusion of the applicant's presentation. The attendance sheets will also be provided to the Board of Public Works for use in its review process. As a courtesy, please turn off all communication devices or place them in silent mode. We are conducting a public informational hearing pursuant to subsection 5-204 of the Environment Article Code of Maryland Regulations. The purpose of this public informational hearing is for the applicant to present the proposed project and tidal wetlands impacts that may be associated with the proposed activity, as well as any impact to water quality. In addition, the hearing provides the department with an opportunity to solicit additional information from interested persons. This hearing is not a contested case hearing under Maryland's Administrative Procedure Act or a public hearing for water quality certification. It is a public hearing for water quality certification, correction. While I want to stress the fact that we are here to share information, we will have some structure to the hearing in terms of the order and length of the various presentation. Please be advised that it is not necessary to read a statement to make it part of the official record. Written comments will also be accepted and receive the same consideration as any oral statement. In fact, for accuracy, if you have written comments to read into the record, please provide a copy of those comments before you leave. This hearing is being recorded. The statutory authority for issuance of a tidal wetlands license is Title 16 of the Environment Article Annotated Code of Maryland as implemented under COMAR Section 230204 and Subtitle 2624. A state tidal wetlands license is issued by the Board of Public Works, consisting of the governor, state treasurer, and comptroller of the state of Maryland, based upon a report and recommendation submitted to the board by the department. In accordance with the Maryland Constitution, the board is the sole body with authority over state property, including state tidal wetlands. In its proprietary authority, the board has the right to grant a third party a license to construct or conduct an activity in state tidal wetlands. According to Section 16202 of the Environment Article, the Secretary of the Department shall assist the board in determining whether to issue a license to dredge or fill state wetlands. The Secretary shall submit a report indicating whether the license should be granted, including any recommended terms, conditions, and consideration after consultation with applicable federal, state, and local entities. Issuance of sufficient public notice and conducting any requested hearing, consideration of any public comments received, and consideration of any other information the Secretary thinks advisable. In making its decision, the board is guided by the public policy of the state, considering applicable ecological, economic, developmental, recreational, and aesthetic values to preserve tidal wetlands and prevent their destruction. I will now read briefly from the regulations so that it is clear how we are going to proceed. An applicant and any interested person shall be given an opportunity at the informational hearing to present facts and make statements supporting or opposing the license. The hearing is not a contested case hearing under Maryland's Administrative Procedure Act. The order of the presentation is determined by the hearing officer and may be conducted as follows. Introduction of the activity and participants by the hearing officer, presentation of the proposed project by the applicant, statements by public officials, statements by the public, and then closing the public informational hearing by the hearing officer. The hearing officer has the authority and duty to conduct a full and fair public informational hearing, act to avoid unnecessary delay and to maintain order, regulate the course of the hearing and the conduct of the participants, extend the time period for providing supplemental written comments or information for inclusion in the hearing record, and rule upon a request for a continuance of the hearing. At the close of the public comment period, the hearing officer shall prepare an official record of the public informational hearing and comments. It is also the responsibility of my office to evaluate requests for water quality certification. Under Section 401 of the Clean Water Act, which requires Maryland as the certifying authority to determine whether the discharge associated with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers permit application 2024-6096 M46 complies with the state's water quality standards. The department's authority is found in Subtitle 9 of the Environment Article. Each certification request received through our regulatory program has specific and unique issues and impacts that must be considered with regard to Maryland's water quality standards. The department is neither a proponent nor opponent of any project. In summary, the Maryland Department of the Environment is conducting a public informational hearing for state tidal wetlands applications 24 WL 0607 and 24 WL 0653 submitted on June 11th, 2024, and Clean Water Act Section 401 Water Quality Certification Request 24 WQC-0022, which was requested May 31st, 2024. The application requests demolition of the stable standard structures comprising the remaining Francis Scott Key Bridge in preparation for the bridge construction. The demolition will consist of 2 phases. The first phase, authorized in July 2025 under 24 WL 0607 EX as an emergency authorization, allows for the mechanical removal of the remaining parapet, median, deck, and 6 remaining girders that are over water. The material will be removed by both truck and barge. This first phase of the project includes the placement of up to 136 diameter temporary piles, 3 temporary buoys, up to 6 soil borings, geotechnical investigations, and the following temporary investigative in-water tests: 14 test piles, 6 drill shaft tests, and 6 static load tests. The second phase, 24 WL 0653, will include the removal of the remaining 4 protective barrier structures, and bridge pier structures, both above and below the water line. This removal will consist of both mechanical means and the use of blasting. Subaqueous blasting and blasting above the water line will be used on the remaining 11 in-water piers, piers 14 through 24, and 4 dolphins. The existing dolphins and piers will be removed to 2 feet below the mud line. The material will be removed via barge with both clamshell and excavators and will include the removal of buried pier segments and associated structures. The project will result in 8.29 acres of temporary impacts to the Patapsco River. The purpose of this removal of the remaining Francis Scott Key Bridge structure will allow for the planning and eventual construction of a replacement bridge at this location. There may be additional concerns related to issues that are beyond the scope of this particular hearing. I ask that this hearing remain focused on issues associated with the Tidal Wetlands License application and request for the water quality certification for the demolition of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. The rebuild of the replacement bridge will be reviewed under a separate Tidal Wetlands License number and water quality certification number. Comments related to bridge replacement will need to be during the public notice or the public hearing associated with the rebuild. The public hearing for the rebuild is scheduled for September 17th, 2024. If you would like to comment for the rebuild of the new bridge, please submit your comments during the public notice period or the September 17th hearing so the department can properly review your comments.
Thanks, Tammy. Next, we will hear from Brian Wolf with the Maryland Transportation Authority. Brian's going to provide a short presentation of the project. After that, we will move on to the public testimony. Brian?
Thank you, Andrew. Again, my name is Brian Wolf. I'm Director of Project Development with the Maryland Transportation Authority. The Francis Scott Key Bridge was a 1.6-mile-long steel truss bridge built between 1972 and 1977 on the lower Patapsco River. The Key Bridge was struck by a cargo ship back in March of this year, resulting in the collapse of the bridge. The Maryland Transportation Authority has identified the demolition of the remaining portion of the bridge along with some preliminary engineering studies as critical path items leading to the rebuild of the Key Bridge. And we have submitted permit applications to authorize impacts associated with those activities. Next slide. So demolition and preliminary engineering studies have been split into 2 phases for the permitting purposes. The first phase, which received emergency authorization from MDE, includes the demolition activities shown in green on the slide. The elements include mechanical removal of the parapets and median barrier along with the roadway deck over water and land, mechanical removal of the girders and steel framing over the water, and removal of the girder spans and piers on land using explosives to demolish them and drop them down to the ground. Next slide. The first phase also includes preliminary engineering studies requiring authorization, and that includes soil borings for sampling the materials in the river, pile installation for pile load tests, possible drilled shaft tests, and static load tests for those foundation elements. And that'll be work conducted from barges and temporary work platforms, as you see here on these sketches. This phase also includes installation of some temporary piling that may be needed to position those barges in place for these operations. The second phase of the demolition includes removal of the remaining piers in the water as well as the dolphin systems that are adjacent to the bridge piers, as you see here in this slide. The red hatching just shows the limits of that removal. We will be taking the piers down to 2 feet below the mud line in the river. And we are working with the agencies to permit this through explosive demolition. That will allow the material to drop down to the river bottom, at which point we will remove the material using clamshell type buckets to remove that off the river bottom to reduce our impacts. MDTA is committed to rebuilding the Key Bridge as quickly as possible while we're minimizing impacts to the aquatic resources.
Thank you, Brian. Whoa, back on. Hi there. So we're going to start public testimony briefly. I'm just going to go over some ground rules right now. The purpose of this public hearing is to allow interested parties to provide public comments related to the demolition of the stable standing structures comprising the remaining Francis Scott Key Bridge. My role as the hearing facilitator is to run a professional and orderly public hearing. I understand how important these issues are, and I take my role as hearing facilitator seriously. I'm committed to providing members of the public an opportunity to provide comments in an organized, fair, professional, and orderly manner. We look forward to hearing your perspectives, but please be courteous of all speakers and understand that offensive or profane language will not be allowed. We are interested in hearing comments related to the demolition of the stable standing structures comprising the remaining Francis Scott Key Bridge from all interested individuals. Again, neither I nor the panelists will respond to any questions or comments. We are here to listen. Please remember that we are recording this hearing, so speak directly and clearly into the microphone and provide your full name, address, and any organization you may be representing. To ensure all will be heard, there will be a 3-minute time limit for public testimony and a 5-minute time limit for elected officials and anyone representing an organization or community. The time will start after you introduce yourself. I will remind you when you have 30 seconds remaining so you can begin to wrap up your testimony. As the hearing facilitator, if you're unable to conclude your comments at the end of your time period, I will end your testimony, move on to the next person, but I will give you plenty of time to wrap up your comments. Also, this hearing is being live streamed and recorded. If you are here for informational purposes and do not wish to comment, or you're unable to stay for the entire hearing, you have the opportunity to watch this live stream of the video from home or watch the recording at a later time. And the comment sheets that are located at the front desk have information to locate the live stream and the recording of this hearing. Okay, so first we're going to start with any elected officials who have indicated that they want to provide testimony. Again, you will have 5 minutes to provide your comments. So I was given a card for one elected official who wishes to provide testimony. That's Robert Long, House of Delegates, District 6, Baltimore County. Delegate Long, as you come up, you've got the microphone there. If you could just state your name, spell your name, who you're representing, and then you can start your comments.
Delegate Bob Long, L-O-N-G, represent the 6th Legislative District, which is this district down here. I'm here today concerns just to see what we can do to help facilitate this process to go through as smoothly and fast as possible. With the Key Bridge collapsing, it has been put a lot of stress on a lot of people down here. It was a main artery for us down here. The only question, I have a couple of questions. Luckily, your staff answered a lot of my questions. So you're following a state joint wetlands.
Delegate Long, as you're starting, I'll give you, we're not going to be able to respond to any questions right now. So you can ask a question, but we're not going to be in a position to respond.
All right, well, I don't have any questions, but I just want to let people know that I'm here, that I'm concerned. We want to make sure that this is done in a timely manner as possible. Anything we can do, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you. Any of the other elected officials or representing elected officials that would like to make comments at this time? Okay, we're going to move on to I'm
a short guy.
There you go. Just if you could just introduce yourself.
Sure.
I assume you're an elected official.
Yes.
I'm sorry that I don't recognize you, but go ahead, state your name, who
I
you're
got
representing.
A face once you see me, you never forget. State Delegate Rick Metzger, District 6. I'm here in support. I'm here to see that we follow the law, be as transparent, do everything above board, and make it just as clean as possible. Our Chesapeake Bay is very vital to us, and we need to make sure we take care of that. And whatever I can do to assist, Delegate Rick Metzger, I'm here to help. God bless.
Okay, thank you, Delegate. Again, any other elected official? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Senator Johnny Ray Salling, Johny-Raysling. Thank you, real quick.
And representing which?
I represent the 6th District of Baltimore County right here. I
Great.
represent this area. Let me get that up a little bit. Thank you. Ditto to what the delegates have said, but more importantly, you know, the people are here for a very good reason. They want all the information that is given. They want it all. We need it all. We want to make sure that they have a voice. It's important to let them have the voice. I'm their senator, but these are my constituents, and it's really important for them to have a voice and be a participant as a part of this. From the start, we've worked with our transportation department, the state, the governor, but all others, and our federal and our state and our local partners. But we want to work with you too. And if anything that we can do as a senator and as delegates, and as constituents, we have wise people here from Turner Station, from all over Wise Avenue, right here, Hollibird, all over Dundalk and Essex. And they're really good people, and they know the area very well. So I believe having that as a benefit for you is a benefit for us all. I want to thank you for this time. God bless.
Thank you, Senator. Okay, any other elected officials? Okay, I'm not seeing anyone. So we're going to move on to.
I've been encouraged to just speak. I just wanted to reintroduce myself. I'm Dana Peterson Moore here on behalf of Mayor Brandon Scott from Baltimore City. Just wanted to put on the record that, you know, obviously we're very supportive of this process. Really encouraged that there's so many people here that want to hear about the plans and what's happening. The one concern that I would just lift up, and I know that you're already aware and mindful of it, are the assets that are in the port that need to be protected, which is certainly a very large water pipe that is a city asset, and then there's also a BGE asset that needs to be protected through the demolition process. And we know that you're aware of that, and we'll be very, very mindful of that as the process moves forward. And as the process moves forward, we're just hoping that it's as expeditious as possible. We hear all the time about the burden that has been placed on this community and other communities getting into and out of and around Baltimore City. So we're hopeful for a very swift process and a new bridge very soon. Thank you.
Okay, I don't see anyone else, so we are going to move on again. If there's someone here, an elected official, who would like to make a comment, there'll be time at the end. But we are going to move on to our members of the public who have signed in. I'm just going in the order in which they're being given to me. So our first person will be Francis Seaman. We have two microphones, whichever one's more convenient. So Mr. Seaman, if you could come up. After Mr. Seaman will be Christopher Barnes and then Linwood Jackson. So Mr. Seaman, as you come up to the microphone, if you could state your name, spell your name, and provide the area that where you live.
Hi, I'm Francis M. Seaman Sr., S-E-M-A-N Sr. I live on 1315 Willow Road, Dundalk, Maryland, 21222. My concern is some of the things that's going to take place in the future. There should never be any environmental issue on the matter. Once everything is cleaned up, everything should go back to its natural state. And I just was informed from you that you have mentioned that you're only going to go down 2 feet below the ground level for removing the debris. My concern is in visualization that all matter should be taken and removed so that there is any condition later on down the road or the pipe that it will not be interfered by the condition that was left from the bridge structure that is there today. And they should be able to remove the matter in less time than 10 months. They should be working on both sides at 24 hours a day, and they should be using the cranes to cut the floor matter in sections and take it on barge and put it on land like they did with the structure of the bridge itself to have it cut up and make the job go faster. And that way, the sooner we get it done, the sooner they can start the preparation for the new bridge. And if they do it in two companies to propose the bridge, one on each end, and another 2 companies making the groundwork for the approach, we could have it done in 2 years' time. And it could be a cable bridge, because a cable bridge, I do believe, is much faster than the bridge structure. And I was always concerned about the structure of the bridge itself, why it was still there when we have heavy winds and things because of the movement of the bridge. And when the bridge was first built, if I do recall, the tugboats met the bridge at the beginning of Carroll Island and escorted it all the way up into the harbor. And vice versa, it came down to do the same thing. Somehow or another, we got away from that, and the condition took place for the destruction of the bridge. And we should remove all debris from the old construction, like I say, to help and keep any condition for hazards later on. Who knows what somebody might want to do, or widen the channel or whatever.
30 seconds.
Yeah. And I thank you for taking care of my concerns. And we do, for the new bridge, we do need a cloverleaf in Dundalk so that the people in Dundalk can go in and out on the cloverleaf rather than go through the condition that they have to do today. God bless all, and may peace be with all of you.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we're going to hear from Christopher Barnes. After Christopher will be Linwood Jackson. Sir, again, as you come up, if you could state your name, spell your name, your address, and then you can start your comments. And just lift the mic up a little. Yes.
Christopher Barnes. Christopher Barnes, ChristopherBarnes, BARNES, 1600 West Mount Royal Avenue. Former Baltimore County resident, now Baltimore City. I would like to take an opportunity to thank Maryland Department of Transportation for having us to give public comment. My deepest sympathies to the families and individuals who have been impacted by this, and a hand of gratitude to those who have responded and are continuing to mitigate the situation with the unfortunate incident of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Going forward, I do feel that this project will be vital to our transportation infrastructure, that this will be vital to restoring normal modes of transportation, reducing congestion on roadways, 895, 695, and other surrounding highways. I do feel that this will also move us to a standpoint where we can have a new bridge with the modern safety standards, because I do feel that we cannot mix old and new. As it stands, that the Francis Scott Key Bridge is an iconic landmark here in Baltimore County, as I am familiar with the area, that we cannot mix old and new, and I do feel it is appropriate to move forward with constructing a new bridge. This will strengthen our transportation infrastructure. This will allow our shipping of services and goods to continue as normal, and this will be a benefit for years to come. So again, I do support the project with Maryland Department of Transportation rebuilding the Key Bridge, and after seeing all the information and poster boards, I do feel that this can be done with minimal environmental impact. So again, I do thank Maryland Department of Transportation for allowing public comment. Good day.
Thank you. Okay, next we're going to hear from Linwood Jackson, and then we'll hear from Meredith Gray.
Good evening. My name is Linwood Jackson. I live in Turner Station. I've been living there over 50 years.
Can you just spell your name just for the court reporter?
W-O-D Jackson, J-A-C-K-S-O-N. If you're not familiar, Turner Station is the only community which the pilings based on the land our community sits on. My house is less than 1,000 feet from the Key Bridge. When the Key Bridge fell, when them 3 sections fell, it shook our community. It shook our community like it's unbelievable. In the process of doing this, we have to take into consideration of some of these communities that surrounding the Key Bridge, like Carnegie Flats, Turner Station, Water Edge. They're aging communities. Our infrastructure is very important. Saying that, knowing that this is it's vital, it's vital, but you have to be concerned with the communities. The thing that irritated me probably the most, right, is that we being as close as we was to this, our community shaking, right, no one had a meeting with us. We had a lot of visitors and reporters and things like this. But even with the building of the prior Key Bridge, the statement was that they were never going to bring any of the heavy equipment through Turner Station, and they did. And they interfered with the aging structure. My concern is that we got to test the structure to see if it can sustain what you're about to do. And that last event, when they said they were going to blow them structures, it's going to be like a firecracker. Are you kidding me? It shook our houses just as bad as when the bridge fell. Now, I can only imagine what it's going to do now. So we got to take some precautions to be particular about what we're about to endeavor in.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Again, next will be Meredith Gray, and then we'll hear from Tiffany Cheek. Is Meredith here? Yep. Yep, take your time. Okay, again, as you come up, if you could state your name and spell your name and your address, please.
Yes, my name is Muriel Gray, Muriel, period, Gray, Muriel L. Gray. My address is 101 Oak Street, Turner Station, Maryland, 21222.
Great, go ahead.
I bring greetings to all of you this evening for coming out and addressing the Scott Key Bridge. I would just like to let you know that my father was very inspirational when that bridge was built in 1972 with his Christian Brothers trucking company. They brought all that steel to that bridge. That night that the bridge went up, it shook my bed. I didn't know what it was. But then I heard the ambulance and the fire trucks and so forth. So I got up, got dressed, and walked through my neighborhood, because that's what we used to do, is check out what's going on. And that's when I found out that the bridge had been hit. I don't know if all of you all know it or not, but we're living on Grace in Turner Station. That was nothing but water there. And as a result, they built those houses there on that water. And not to my knowledge, nothing has been checked out since those houses have been built. And also, I've heard from different people when that bridge was struck, their houses were shook. Nobody has come out to see what type of damage was done to the houses. Especially there near the bridge. And, you know, we need to, I guess, get a little more conscious of when we are on water, housing those many houses that are in Turner Station on water. We never know when that water is going to just say, okay, we're over with, okay? I love Turner Station. I was raised up in Turner Station. My mother and father was very active in Turner Station at the time. And now I have been active also. When it was the Turner Station Development Corporation, I was the president for about 10 years. And we did a wonderful job. And you all, Senator Stone, he was our senator at the time. And whatever we needed, we got it. And so far, you know, when this bridge was struck, it just shook the whole Turners. And we're just asking y'all for y'all prayers that you all might do things expediently, because as I travel, you should see the backup in the traffic. It's like I was coming down on Dundalk Avenue, and the police was behind us. I thought they were coming after us, but it was a truck with all these cars on it, and they pulled them over. But they're not supposed to be on that street. But nevertheless, I ask y'all prayers that we might do things in expedience so that we can get back to our traveling mode. Always remember, as you go, take the name of Jesus with you, carry him wherever you may go. God bless you.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Next, we're going to hear from Tiffany Cheek. And after that will be Terry Turbin.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany Cheek, Tiffanycheek, representing the Mount Olive Baptist Church of Turner Station at 651 Mount Olive Road, Dundalk, Maryland 21222. Our two concerns are about noise pollution with the demolition. We have veterans in our congregation and in our community, and the sound from the demolition, from explosives, and all of those things have triggered some of those individuals, and we want to make sure that we can address mental health and minimize the impacts for those individuals in our congregation and our community. And we're also concerned about the traffic implications of equipment coming in, of access both on Broning Highway and Mount Olive Road, as they do impact our community members, they impact our congregation and our access to our building. We spent months having to come through police blockades and various barriers in order to get into the community to continue our service. So those are the types of things that are on our minds for our congregation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Terry Turbin. Terry, if you could state your name and spell your name and your address.
Terry Turbin, Terry, Turbin. I live in Gray Manor Subdivision, 225 South Woodwell Road, zip code 21222. I've been listening. I was listening, but I wasn't going to really say anything because I'm on board with this, building this bridge as quickly as we can. I think we all agree with that. But after hearing a lot of the things that I've heard and then looking at the charts, the environmental part of it, I think you guys got that nailed down. But I worked on the bridge. I helped build it. And so the structural integrity of the remaining piers is impeccable. I was under the influence of some people that have worked on the bridge that I have talked with and worked on other structures like that, that sometimes you can be cost effective by incorporating the existing piers in with the new design. So my frustration is I'm seeing that we're getting ready to go into a demolition of possibly something that could really enhance and be used with the new construction of the new bridge, the new design. So I think there should have been a feasibility study done. There should be some look at the cost effectiveness. I mean, I know the government has agreed to pay the money for this bridge, and I'm thankful for that. But I think we should still be a little bit conservative with how we view things in a financial matter. And so for me, I think that really maybe we need to take a step back and look at, is there a possibility? I haven't seen anything in relationship to a new design, whether the old existing piers and what's there now has even been thought of in a new design. I do see on the charts back there, you're going to use the same approaches from both the Solars Point side and the Hawkins Point side. So with those approaches being the same, why wouldn't it be possible to use the piers out to where they are now? No demolition, no distressing veterans, no really causing houses to shake. Only do what would be necessary maybe with the main columns that I think would probably need to come down. But I was very thankful too to hear that you're going to go 2 feet below the river bottom surface with what you take out, because that would prevent a lot of environmental frustration, I think, would take place if you did that. So I guess what I'm saying is maybe we need to revisit, whether or not this is even necessary at this point to do what you're saying that we're going to do. I mean, I know I can't control that, but it's my 2 cents anyway. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So at this point, everyone who has indicated an interest in providing testimony has had that opportunity. But if you have been sitting here and you weren't quite sure whether you wanted to make a comment, but you've changed your mind, if you'd like to make a comment, this is the time to do that, because we're going to wrap up if there's no more comments. So again, I'll give it a couple seconds, and we'll see if anyone has change of heart. But I'm not seeing any hands or any indication of that. Hold on. Nope, come on up. No, come up. I just wanted you to, I thought you were going to talk from there. I wanted you to talk in the microphone.
I just wanted,
reintroduce yourself.
Sure, I'm Senator John Ray Salling, Johnoisalling. And just let you know, we are going to be meeting with our federal partners. We're meeting with some of them to talk about infrastructure, which is, I think that was your emphasis. Their emphasis was infrastructure and some of the areas and the integrity of that, and just looking at that to make sure that that is addressed. That's very important. And so I just want to let them know, I've gotten calls from the congressman, and I'm going to also get with some of our U.S. senators and have those conversations, and making sure that if anything comes about, you're going to know. It will be out there. And that's important to every person in here, even you, for the state, but for our federal partners. So I just want to let them know, you know, we're going to do all that we can, being transparent and having you be a part of that again at the same time. So I just wanted to say that because we are having those conversations. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Again, anyone else, member of the public, before we wrap up? Okay, so I'm not seeing any hands. So right now it's 6:14 p.m. and I'm going to turn the hearing back over to the hearing officer, Tammy, who is going to close the hearing out. Tammy?
The formal hearing record will remain open until 7:30 p.m. Thursday, August 15th, 2024. All correspondence must be postmarked or emailed by this date. I have with me a number of sheets explaining how to submit additional comments. Those are on the table when you entered the room. Please forward any additional comments that you would like to make for the record by email to matthew.wallach@maryland.gov or by mail at Maryland Department of the Environment, care of Matt Wallach, Tidal Wetlands Division, 1800 Washington Boulevard, Suite 430, Baltimore, Maryland 21230. After the hearing closes, the department will review and consider all of the comments it received during the comment period. If necessary, the department may request additional information from the applicant to address certain comments. After all relevant issues have been resolved, the department will make its decision and final report and recommendation to the Wetlands Administrator for the board, who shall then present the proposed project for a decision at a public meeting of the board in accordance with COMAR Chapter 230204. The board's decision will be final and there will be no further opportunity for administrative review. Any person with standing may petition for judicial review of the board's decision in the circuit court of their respective jurisdiction, so City of Baltimore, Anne Arundel County, or Baltimore County. The petition for judicial review must be filed within 30 days of the board's decision. The public comments received will also be considered by the department when rendering a decision on certification request number 24 WQC 0022, unless extenuating circumstances justify an extension of time. The department is obligated to issue, deny, or waive certification of the project prior to expiration of the reasonable period of time as determined by the Army Corps of Engineers, which is May 31st, 2024. The department's decision and accompanying information will be sent to the interested person list, the applicant, and the Army Corps of Engineers. Any person who is aggrieved by the department's decision may appeal the decision by filing a request within 30 days of the publication of the Water Quality Certification Decision in accordance with COMAR 260802 10F4. If you're unsure if you are on the interested persons list, please ensure your name is added to the signature sheets at the front desk and your name will be added to that list. We appreciate your interest in this project and thank you for attending the hearing. The time is 6:17 and this hearing is now adjourned.